channel near you.
Hey, everybody. How are you doing tonight? So this is Alethea. I'm Alethea. And this show is Spiritual Street Talk with Alethea Jacob. And tonight we're kind of be looking at spring cleaning energy and what does that mean for your energy field and what we can do there. Hi, Tristan. So one of the things I wanted to start with right away is to thank Justin, who is behind the scenes, pulling the strings and pushing the buttons so that we actually can have a show tonight. Grizz is feeling a tiny bit under the weather, but he's getting better and better all the time. So I'm going to ask that y'all continue to send some good prayers and good mojo energy and healing energy his way. He's working real hard on behalf of all of us hosts and trying to put together the best lineup of shows for y'all that are interesting and hopefully helpful to y'all in some way. So, right now with all the change of season, I'm not surprised people are feeling under the weather, right? Here in beautiful Wisconsin, we went from, within a week, we went from having a most intense blizzard, snowstorm, crazy cold weather, and winds were off the charts. And then today, not even a week later, it's 60 degrees and sunny. It's like, hello, so it's a nice reminder that spring is just around the corner, right? We hope, especially up here in the upper Midwest, it's a really nice time when the flowers start to poke through. And I saw a few crocuses starting to push through the soil here. So I'm like, yay, it's coming. It's almost here. Hang on. We don't have that much longer to go. And I just realized my camera's really wonky. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So spring cleaning energy, right? Have you thought about, for most of us, we think about the physical spring cleaning of our house, right? We open up the windows, we let all the fresh air in, kind of get all that stale stuff out. This is also a time that corresponds for some religions, like with the Christian religion, this is Lent leading up to Easter. And for a lot of people, they'll start fasting and praying a little bit more for religious reasons. But just in general, it's a really great idea to fast a little bit and to clean out your system, give your digestion a chance to break after the winter, when typically we weren't quite as active and we may have been eating some heavier comfort type foods because that's what we want when it's cold and yucky outside, right? We want like a nice warm bowl of stew or soup and crackers and that kind of stuff. And, it's good to kind of get back into that, fresh salads and vegetables and things that really agree with our systems and help to clean out bits and pieces along the way. So we know about the physical stuff. We know about our house. We know about our bodies, right? As far as doing that, making whatever changes we need to kind of shake up and dust off any of the internal cobwebs from the winter. But we also have things like for our vehicles, right? The spring cleaning, we probably get our oil change. If you happen to live in any of the northern areas, you swap your tires out from your snow tires to your regular all season or your regular regular tires. So you're doing things for your car to get it ready for spring. So we take care of a lot of physical things for that sense of spring cleaning. But what do we do for our spirit, for our soul, right? What kind of things are we saying? Yeah, you know what? There's more sunshine now. There's more light. There's more access to energy around us. So why don't we use some of that to kind of shake up the cobwebs of our purpose, right? Shake up any of the remnants of sleep, so to speak, that, dark night where it's like, where's the sun? I miss the sun, right? Where is that? Well, you want to shake that up so that you can get back on track to living a life that's much more in alignment with your creativity, with your soul's purpose, with the you that you're trying to become and express to the fullest measure possible for what you've brought down into this lifetime to create. So spring is a good time to kind of rebound and break through. And I love the metaphor of the caterpillar turning into the butterfly, right? Because there's so many times I just feel like that little inchworm there scooching along a branch, like, oh my God, like, what am I doing here? I'm just scooching along and scooching along, right? And then you find yourself in a cocoon, right? And you're like, or building that cocoon and nesting, right? Especially like for the winter, right? Nesting in and getting in there. And then what happens come spring? The transformation happens, the breakthrough happens. And so for me, I like to think about, okay, it's worth the wait, it's worth the struggle, it's worth some of the pain of the transformation, because I can't imagine it's physically comfortable. Now, I don't know, obviously, I'm not in touch with the past life of being a worm, a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, but I would imagine it's pretty painful going through that kind of transformation. I've like, oh my gosh, growing to 5-10 times your size and breaking through, like having wings and going from like that little scooch to like, oh, I'm flapping now, right? So I think part of the message is transformation might be painful, but it sure is worth it, right? Look what joy I bet the butterfly feels after it's flapping out of that cocoon. It's probably like, oh yeah, I'm flying. And I wonder, does it even think back? Hey, Lorna, I wonder if they even think back and have any awareness of when they look at the other caterpillars scooching along on the branch, like, oh, I used to be one of those, but now I'm flying. I don't even know if they connect the dot, because I know I would imagine the caterpillar doesn't look up and say, oh, that'll be me someday. Because when you're stuck in the scooching along, you don't have an end in sight. And when you're in that dark cocoon and you're starting to go through that painful transformation, you're like, oh gosh, I hope it's worth it on the other side. And then finally, when you're out there and now you're beautiful and you're flying and you're free, you're not stuck just scooching along a branch anymore. It's like, oh, this is interesting, right? So that kind of feeling of breakthrough is something I want you to think about, especially as you get into spring. Like, what's the spring cleaning you can do for your soul? What needs to be dusted off? Do you have a spiritual practice that you used to do? Did you used to do yoga or Tai Chi or a martial art? Did you attend any kind of services that got you closer? Did you do anything artistic, paint or write, dance, or do something that's a creative expression that made you feel closer to nature, or even being out in nature, hiking and fishing or boating, or just sitting by the beach and letting your mind open up to whatever wants to come through? So it's been a while for a lot of us, going through the winter, that, oh, you know what? I need to get back into doing that a little bit more often. Are you meditating as much? Are you taking time to journal? And even if it's a dream journal, right? Because listening to our dreams, we talked about that in a prior episode, right? How important it is to be in touch with that aspect of yourself that's trying to communicate messages and prompt you in ways and give you pieces of the puzzle through your dreams. So if you journal, you're able to see over time the big picture and get the messages and get the guidance in ways that you wouldn't if you kind of say, yeah, I'll journal another time, and you miss the opportunity. So part of what I'd like to encourage you to do is, sit back and think about what are the spiritual things you used to do more often, that it might be beneficial for you to kind of dust off and come back, circle back around to it and see how it feels now. Give it another try, get back into the practice and see if things aren't a little different for you and a little better for you, because you're coming at it from a place with more wisdom, more life experience, maybe a healthier sense of curiosity and not so much pressure. Because I know for a lot of people, when they do metaphysical or spiritual or psychic types of things, they're experimenting with it and they're trying it. They try so hard that they sometimes shut their own channel down, because it's like, I gotta get this right. And you're like, yeah, just have fun. Be be curious, be creative, see what comes, just notice what you notice. There's always time for analysis later. Don't stop the flow by trying to figure out in that moment, is this making sense? Just go with it for the while, write down what you're perceiving, or share it, or notice it, make notes of it in whatever way works for you. And then later you can look at it and say, wow, that's pretty profound, or I don't know, maybe I was a little off on this one. But while you're in it, just kind of go with it and see where it leads. Don't put so much stress and pressure on it, because if the very first time you go to meditate and get an answer from spirit is to ask, is this the right person you're supposed to marry? Or should you sell your house? Or should you quit your job and go get a new one? That's a pretty heavy duty, weighted type scenario or questions to be asking of spirit when you don't have a very strong relationship and a deep understanding of how spirit connects with you and communicates with you, so that you can get the clarity of, this is a yes, this is a no, this is a maybe, this is a not now, or like, go for it, right? So you don't want to wait until it's a really pressing, important thing to use any tool for the first time. So my suggestion is, as soon as possible, start playing and experimenting, and let that curiosity take you and see, like, oh, if I used a pendulum, how right is that pendulum in giving me a repeatable, correct answers to questions that I'm asking? And, so you ask before something that is going to have a definite outcome. You ask the question, and then later you check and see, oh, yep, I was right. Or tools like just even using your intuition. We've talked about this before, and I think it still bears repeating over and over and over again, because so many people misinterpret what intuition truly is. Intuition is the coherence between your mind, your intellect, your heart, your feelings, and your gut, your knowings. It's those three things that partner together that create the sense of intuition that can be a trustworthy source of guidance and inspiration for you as you go through your life. So, look at what do you need to do to dust that off a little bit? What do you need to practice a little bit more so you can fine tune it? So when you do have a need, or somebody else in your life has a need for some kind of guidance or clarity from spirit, you'll have a way to be able to tap into that and have a knowing and a way to communicate that back out. I think what I would like to do now is jump right to the reading portion of today. And for those of you just joining the show, hello, thank you for joining. And what I would like to do each week is I pray a little bit ahead of time, and then I ask spirit to inspire the choice of some angel and oracle cards and some tarot cards to contain messages that would be useful to anybody who is listening or watching the show, either live right now tonight, or whenever you're downloading it or watching it or listening to it in the future, whether that future is tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. My assumption is, and my request from spirit is, please provide some sort of meaningful words that would be helpful to anybody that's tuning in. So when you listen to the different cards and the messages that come out, see that, try to figure out like, oh, that's the one that was for me, or, oh, wow, that really hit home for me. Because there should be at least one of these that goes ding, ding, ding. That's for you. And thank you for joining us today. Okay. So the first card I selected is the angel card of joy. And joy says, joy springs from a sense of connection to the divine and is a quality which illuminates you. Your angel guidance is to cultivate this quality by seeking the divine in every situation. Look beyond the surface and seek the light in the heart of each person. Then you will become aware of the wonder of creation, and joy will ignite your life. Delight in everything, for joy is a key to enlightenment, and it's a way to help you enjoy life. So joy right now has been a theme for me and for many people in the field, because we are coming out of a period of overwhelm. And, we feel like, oh my God, I finally got out of the quicksand and we're starting to get some momentum and make some movement. And it's really easy to get overwhelmed in the to-do list. And even if it's good things that you're doing, if you're exhausted and you're like, yeah, I'm working hard, but it's like, oh my gosh, I never seem to have a minute. For me, you need to slow down. You need to get balance back in your life. And one of the key components of balance in our lives is making sure you're making the time and taking the time to do things that bring you joy in your life. And that could be something as simple as taking a nap or a bubble bath, getting a massage, going for a walk, playing with dogs or babies, kittens, puppies, whatever, playing games, hanging out with friends. Well, you know what brings you joy, right? So for a lot of people, they're like, oh man, it's been so long since I've done something that was just pure joy for the sake of doing that. And I'm here to tell you tonight, you need to fix that priority, right? You need to get back on top of your own life and schedule, because it is your life. And what's the point of working so bloody hard every day and being exhausted all the time if you don't have something to show for it, as far as a joyful experience, loving connections, great relationships, and a knowing that you are following the path for your life, the purpose that your soul wants you to express in this life. All right. The next card that came up is kind of a fun one. I know it's not necessarily for everyone literally, but bear with me on this. It's the entrepreneur card. And we can all be an entrepreneur of our spirit, right? We can say, you know what? I can listen to my own inner promptings and go where I feel is the best way to go. I don't have to go through a school curriculum. I don't have to follow this checklist given to me by my bosses. When it comes to your spiritual development, you are your own boss. So entrepreneur says self-employment suits your disposition and intentions. Working for yourself can allow you to better follow your intuition and divine guidance. We, dear angels, are your co-workers and teammates who remain loyally by your side to ensure your success in all ways. So again, you may not literally say, well, I want to run my own company or be my own boss. From a work and a worldly perspective, but from a spiritual perspective, it's critical that you're an entrepreneur, that you are your own boss, that you figure out, again, back what brings joy to your soul, what works for you and your family, and do those things. And then the third card I chose out of the Oracle decks, this one is clairvoyance, and it says, see the truth as it is, not what you want it to be. Know that you can penetrate the darkness and observe the facts in all things. Your eyes can shine with a loving light. So clairvoyance, we have our different senses. And when you put a spiritual or a psychic spin on sight, it's called clairvoyance. It's that psychic sensing or psychic seeing. When you hear something, it's called clairaudience. When you know something, it's clairsentience, etc. But clairvoyance is, when you see it, it's important that this case is to see the truth as it is, right? How often do we rationalize or step back from a situation and go, yeah, I don't want to really see it. I want to hear it. I don't want to know. Let me just go through it, right? And it's like, no. It's really important for you to know what's the truth of the situation so you know how to respond. And then spirit can help to prompt and guide you in the ways that can address the situation in whatever way makes sense. I chose 3 tarot cards also. And the first one I got, so it's for past, present, future of issues and things that are happening right now for us. So in the past, it's sort of like, okay, we're a little out of balance, right? We're going along our ways. This is the Page of Pentacles. Notice there's only half of the pentacle there. And that's kind of the clue of, we weren't really totally in balance. There was times that we really focused on health and then we didn't. And then there's times we really focused on making money and being worldly and successful. And then there's times we didn't. And there's times we focused on relationships and making sure those were great. And then there wasn't. And there was times that we focused on our spirituality and our awareness and knowing of how we're connected to all things. And that we know that there's something greater than us, but that we're also a part of that. And then the last aspect of balance is time, that balance of work, rest, and play. And for a lot of people, that's a real challenge in today's world to get enough rest and play in the mix, right? Okay, so where are we now? we should be at party time, right? This spring, this year, for a lot of people, is going to be a time of abundance, a time of balance, a time, because you see the scale is there for balance, right? It's also a time of really creating the richness and the quality in the life you want, because you are taking the time to manifest it. You are taking the time to envision it, to get clear on what you want, and to put it out there. And a little while in the episode, we're going to go through an exercise. Let's call it a metaphysical moment, if you will. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk you through how to manifest what you want more for this year, especially with this feeling of spring and momentum and kind of shaking off the icicles and moving forward. And then the last card that I chose for today was the Knight of Swords. And this is reminding us, swords is about our worldly power. And when that's upside down, it says, if things are not happening for you in the world at the time or pace or in the way that you want, it may simply be the timing is off. And so it's going to say, look, rest until the way is made clear, right? Keep doing the things that you need to as far as sending the intention out there and being clear on what you want, and do your part, right? And then eventually the rest of the world will kind of catch on and support that consistency of the message of, this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. I remember watching an episode on TV not that long ago of one of the cooking shows, and there was this hotshot young chef, and they said they started cooking in the kitchen like when they were 7 or 8 years old with their grandparents and their parents. But there's like, they were practically having a temper tantrum if they were told they couldn't be in the kitchen. They were like, nope, I am going to become a chef. I'm going to become a chef. And they told every person they met, every teacher, every friend, every other friend's parents, everybody, one day I'm going to be a chef. One day I'm going to be a chef. One day I'm going to be a chef. And because they kept that constancy of that message of, this is what I want to do, I'm clear on this, this is my passion, this is what I want, this is what I want to become. And they hit that, and they told that to every single person they met along the way. They set up this incredible energy field that allowed and assisted that to become an eventuality, a real manifestation, right? And so it's so important for us to make sure our thoughts and our actions are in alignment, and that we are like, okay, this is what I want. This is why it's right for me. This is why it's good for me and my family. And I'm not going to stop until this is what I've accomplished. And so that's kind of perseverance and not being willing to let go of your dream, and to be creative and to engage and enlist the aid of as many supporters and other people around you as possible. It's really important to do. So we have those. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit. Oh, wait, we had a comment. We forget how to do the most basic. Right. Yeah. And being mindful every day, right? So many people, and I'm sure I used to be one, and I know a lot of people that are ones still. We sleepwalk through our days and our weeks, right? We get up and we're on autopilot. It's go, 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 go. We hit the alarm, we jump in the shower, we get dressed, we maybe eat a quick breakfast, take care of our animals if we have pets. We get in the car, we commute to work, or if we telecommute, we get into our office and we work. And then on the way back from work, we might stop and run a few errands. We get home, we do some chores. We might chill out a little bit for the evening. And then the next day we repeat. And the next day we repeat, and the next day we repeat. And, it's that way pretty much every work day for the year, other than the 1 or 2 weeks, maybe 3 if we're lucky, that we go on vacation and then we do something different. But we're not stopping to very consciously be self-aware of, what are we doing in each moment? Why are we doing this? Is this joyful? And even just noticing what we're doing. How many times have you hit the alarm, and next thing you know, you're in the car and you're like, yeah, I got up, I showered, I had breakfast, I brushed my teeth, I said goodbye to my family, and but that was all on autopilot. I wasn't really there. Or I got in the car to drive, and the next thing you know, I'm pulling into the parking lot. I wasn't really there, right? You're like, well, where were you? Okay, so part of us is on autopilot and we were able to function. That's a good thing. But we were not being consciously aware. We're just going through the motions, and we lost an opportunity to really focus our intention. And I believe that the more engaged we are in each thing that we do, the more benefit we get out of it, especially like with relationships. Like, couldn't you tell if your lover, your partner, your husband, your wife, your friend is just going through the motions with you? Like, you're having this deep conversation with them and you're sharing and they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're like, wait a minute, you're not really with me. Where the hell are you? Be with me, right? Pay attention. So, or there's other acts we can be doing with those people, depending on the intimacy of the relationship. It's like, are they really paying attention, or are they just going through the motions or doing the same old? It's like, first, check on the checklist of, yep, I did step 1, then step 2, then step 3. No. Be present in that moment that you're spending with people as much as possible. And I know cell phones and devices and all the kinds of tools that we have that can be wonderful for certain purposes are really undermining our ability to communicate and be with each other in person, because we're so used to doing it now with our fingers, right? Instead of with our mouths and with our energy and with our hearts. So it's important for us to kind of get back to some of the basics when it comes to learning how to interact again, and really just make a decision, like, I'm going to be present for this half hour, 5 minutes, however long the duration of the interaction is. I'm with you. And I know I'm with you, and I'm here, and I'm here. And if somebody is with you and you notice that they're not with you, so to speak, they're not there, I would very gently say, hey, where are you? Come back to me. Come back to us. Just help guide people and wake them up out of the sleepwalking that they're doing as they're going through their life. And that's an important part. So, what I would like to do is offer you an opportunity to think about, what do you want to manifest this year? And I know around the beginning of the year, we all kind of sit there and we reflect on the past year, and we put our intentions for the new year, and some make resolutions. Well, here we are now, it's 3 months later. And I think it would be beneficial to kind of reanimate or re-energize some of those intentions for the things that you want to manifest this year. So think about what you'd like to manifest, right? And I'd like you to understand that heartfelt prayers and clear desires, and specificity in what you want and why you want it will help as you put that out into the universe. So get a really fully formed picture in your mind. And if you're driving, you kind of imagine it in your mind's eye, but still keep your eyes on the road, please. Imagine what it is that you want to supercharge in your life. What do you want to manifest by the end of the year? What do you want to become your new reality? What changes do you want to make? Become as clear as you can in how you see it, smell it, hear it, feel it, know it. What is it like? What's a day in the life like when you have stepped into and become and manifested that condition, that beingness that you're looking for? And feel love building up in your heart for that image, for that future representation, for that energy that you're putting out into the world. So you want to really coat it with love and feel the energy building in your heart, and just feel the joyfulness of, I know this time's going to be the time that it finally comes to pass, if it's something that you've been working on for a while, right? And then with gratitude, take in a deep breath and exhale and release that image, that knowing those details of how you felt, every little bit of it, release that out into the universe with this feeling of love and gratitude behind it. And it'll basically, it'll propel that even further out into the cosmic field and the quantum field, so that it'll be that much easier for it to start to happen. And whenever you can re-energize it or reanimate it, all you need to do is take a nice deep breath, visualize it, feel love and gratitude building up in your heart, and exhale and release it again. It's kind of like chanting or toning. It's like you take a breath, you make the sound, release it out there, you fill the room with your energy. Okay, great. Well, you can do that multiple times to amplify what's going on. Or if you're having a rough day, you can just take a minute and sit there and sing something, chant something, tone or ohm something, and it will help to shift your energy, because it puts it out into your energy field and further out into the environment. So I wanted you to do that. And then that's not just planting the seed. Each time you go through that exercise and you reiterate it and send it with gratitude and love, with your breath and with your intention out into the universe, into your energy field, it's like you're now watering and caring for that seed that you planted, and getting ready for that harvest to happen, that transformation to happen, that ripening to happen. And to close the loop for the manifesting is when it does manifest in your life, you take a moment or two to recognize, hey, it's here. Thank you. That sense of gratitude. And you may have been the one to bust your butt to make it happen. And so you're like, thank you. You thank yourself. You're like, wow, all right, we did it. Yay. You celebrate those milestones. So you close the loop from, I sent out the intention. This is what I want to manifest. I kept on it every day, sent a little bit more energy its way, made sure my actions and my words were congruent. And every day I was taking another step in that direction, doing another thing that would bring me closer and closer to that outcome that I desire. And then circle back once it comes and it's manifested in a form. You give thanks, you show appreciation, you celebrate that milestone and victory. And that kind of closes the loop. But it also kind of gets it ready for, okay, we did that. What's next? What's next? What's next? Right. So it gives you a success to build on, instead of false starts that just kind of wear you down and make you feel like, well, what's the point? I never get there anyway. Right. So we have to watch our words, watch our feelings, to make sure that they're all congruent, that they're positive, that they're moving in the direction of where we want to go, right? Get rid of the stinking thinking, right? Remember, where your thoughts go, energy flows. What are you empowering by your thoughts? You want to be empowering things that are useful and that will lead you in the direction you want to go. So one other thing I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight is I want to talk about sacred places, because we're in the spring. And spring and summer are really busy times for a lot of people to travel. Many people will choose to go to a sacred place to spend some or all of their vacation time or part of their vacation time. And I wanted to kind of go through like, well, why bother going to a sacred place? What's the point of doing that? And besides the fact that it can be just kind of fun, to go to these places for vacation, usually sacred places have a great history to them, and they have an energy field that retains, let's call it, just like our bodies have cellular memory, like there is a energy field, cellular memory in sacred places, where you have the ability to tap into what happened here. What did it feel like? What was going on? If it was something that was, transformative or uplifting. And so, it may be that it's a sacred place because of its profound natural beauty. And that makes it worth going to. Just being able to tune into the energy at some of these sacred places help you to quicken your vibration and raise your energy. I was very blessed when I was younger. I made it a priority to travel around our country and around the world to as many countries as I could. And I felt like I was an energy sponge. It was like everywhere I went, I was like, I just want to suck it in and pull it in and weave it like a thread into the tapestry of my being, so that no matter where else I ever went in the world, I would carry with me some of the energy from that place, or from that sacred place. And some places are more mysterious, like Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids. They're like, okay, we know something went down there, right? We know it was something sacred to the people of the time, but we're not 100% sure on what exactly happened here. Was it a place for initiations? Was it a place to communicate with their gods? Was it a place for some kind of amazing transformation to take place at certain times of the year, like during eclipses or during solstices or during equinoxes, right? So there's certain places around the planet that have that. So one of the reasons I liked to go there was not just to absorb that energy and sort of jumpstart a personal initiation into whatever my next level was going to be. It was so that I could rededicate myself to my soul's purpose and the purpose of our lives. So I think when we go to places that have the effect of, I won't say bringing us to our knees, but making us have this sense of awe and appreciation or wonder or magic or mystery. And it's like, wow, there's something about this place that is just amazing. What it can do for our souls is uplift us and bring us to a point of remembering and saying, oh, I need to get back on track. I want to feel this more often, and not just when I'm on vacation in the Holy Land or in this beautiful temple or cathedral or at Stonehenge or Avery Circle or a crop circle for that matter, or Machu Picchu or Lourdes, or you name it, right? There's so many sacred places around the world that were sacred to the people at the time they were built, but they're still sacred today. I'm sure you've felt it when you've gone into many public places, right? If you go into even like a museum, there have been tens and hundreds of thousands of people that have gone through that museum before you. And it's filled with art and expressions and creativity. And so when you walk through a museum, for people that do that, it's like, oh, it transports you to what is possible. It shows you examples of people that have connected with something greater than self and brought forth and manifested these creations, the creativity that they did in the artwork or the sculpture or the music or whatever it is that you're witnessing in these museums. It's meant to inspire you to say, okay, you just immersed yourself in the energy of all this creativity. What are you going to do with it? What is your form of expression of creativity? How can you take what was sacred here and connect with that something greater than self that's possible? And when you do that, where will it lead you? What will you become, or what will you experience when you take some of that energy and immerse yourself in it time and time again? So the word sacred, I know it's not like a very common word these days, but we are all, if you think about it, we're on a sacred mission to fulfill the purpose for which we were born, right? Our souls had a purpose. And when you think of what's sacred, it's something that is precious. It's something that should be honored and protected and expressed in beautiful ways. It's something that maybe has a mystical or magical component to it that inspires awe and helps to raise vibration. And some of these places are portals, portals to other dimensions, portals to connect with benevolent interdimensional beings, whether they are guides or angels or aliens or loved ones in spirit. So there's an opportunity when you go to these places to have energy experiences. So for some people that say, I have a hard time feeling energy. Well, I would really strongly encourage you to go to a place that is known to have profound energy. Come to Sedona, where the vortex energies are there. And, I defy you to be up in those Red Rock Mountains and up in the hills and not feel energy, right? It's like, yeah, it's a place that's known for it, right? Go into the Holy of Holies in some of these temples. There's the innermost sanctums where at least where you're allowed to go, and you feel this sense of reverence and awe and connection to the divine, right? So if you're having trouble accessing any of these feelings on your own, then go to these places where the energy's been layered in for generation after generation, and hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands and maybe millions of people have been there and contributed, leaving their little piece of energy to that fabric of that cellular memory or energy memory that's in that place. Okay. Okay. So Kay is sharing with us here. She's like, that grounding, you can ground yourself with raking, and with all the ice that's been here, it's so important to go up. And there are sacred hills in upstate New York, absolutely, depending on your faith. I know that there is a place called the Sacred Grove in upstate New York, where a visitation of God and Jesus were perceived. And that was kind of a cool place, to be able to go. You think, well, geez, or there's a hill, where an angel appeared, and you're like, oh, okay. So when you hear about some of those places, it's kind of fun to go and explore them and see. And then we have, Kay was saying here, like Nikola Tesla, she put it in the comment, people like Tesla were able to travel with their minds, just like Einstein, right? You don't have to necessarily go thousands of miles from home. Almost everywhere around you, within probably an hour drive at most of where almost everybody lives, there's some spot that's going to have high energy, have a sacred feel. A lot of these places are in nature, but some are man-made structures that were dedicated to something holy or greater than self, or for communing, or were just designed for the purpose of come here and experience the pure beauty for the sake of beauty. I remember reading about the Taj Mahal and how that beautiful structure was built as a memorial for the princess, the wife, the queen who died prematurely. And, the ruler that was left grieving built this place with these beautiful gardens and reflective pools to always honor the memory of this woman that he loved, and to honor love, right? And so when people go to India, and I've not been there, but I have a couple friends that have gone, they said the feeling is palpable. Like you sit there and you see the Taj Mahal reflected in the reflected pools, and you're surrounded by these beautiful gardens. You can't help but just feel this sense of awe and appreciation for the beauty and this energy of love and this testament to love that was built by this ruler back in the day. So yeah, you don't have to necessarily go far, but there are reasons to sometimes go places that are sacred to help jumpstart and or get you back on track, or to remotivate you, or to connect you to something, or just for the fun of it, right? Have that sense of curiosity. And if by going to a high energy, high vibration place, it can quicken our energy and expand and raise our consciousness even more, so that we can be in better contact with our guides, with those benevolent interdimensional beings I mentioned earlier. If it can help us stay on track in our life, so that we are living our best version of ourselves, and that we're being congruent with the purpose our soul wants us to express in this life, then it's well worth the time to experience that and turn to those places. One of those places that I love to go, that it's sacred in a way, because of the energy at the place, but it's not religious at all. So it's an interesting place. It's the Monroe Institute in Faber, Virginia. And it's this beautiful mountainous area in the Blue Ridge Mountains that just has this profound energy of connectedness and possibility. And it was the inspiration for me in writing my book, A Portal to Potential, The Muse of Monroe, because when I was there, I just felt like a portal opened and information came flooding through. And I put it down as fast as I could write it. And today I wanted to share with you one of the pieces that came through that's in there. And it talks about the crystals on the hill. And one thing that Monroe is famous for, the Monroe Institute is famous for, is that there are 2 gigantic rose quartz crystals. And by gigantic, I mean they are bigger than, it's got to be at least 6 or 7 feet tall, maybe more than that. And the diameter, you could have 3 or 4 people holding hands and to make a circle around it. It's that big. And so there were 3 of these stones that were found in, I think it was Brazil, many, many years ago. And 2 of them are donated to the Monroe Institute. So there's one at their main property and one up the hill at their retreat center. And so these crystals have this incredible energy that it's kind of anchoring some energy at that spot. Like when I was sitting by the crystal, this is one of the ones that came through. And I wanted to read that to you tonight and share it with you. So it's called The Crystals on the Hill. The guardian stones stand like sentinels in time, holding the space and energy for those who wish to visit and play. They come from a distant land and an ancient time to remind us we are all connected. They shine their light and they sing their song, vibrating love for all who have eyes to see and ears to hear and a heart to feel. What will you see as you gaze into the portal it creates into other lands and times? What messages come forth from the frequencies aligning the vibrations of your soul? How will your heart and spirit be touched and forever changed by the cumulative collective love they offer, asking nothing but your love in return to add to the whole? Healing and inspiration, joy and love. Awaken and remember, we are all one. When you are in the presence of the divine, of something sacred, of a person or a conscious artifact, like a crystal, like I think of a crystal, like there's a consciousness to crystal. They resonate in energy. They have a purpose. They are these sentinels that are like the lighthouse with the beacon that's constantly going out, regardless of who's there to see or hear them. That's their purpose, right? When you're in the presence of the greatness of spirit, the greatness of soul, you cannot help but be uplifted. Just like the old nautical saying, right? A rising tide lifts all boats. When you are in the presence of high energy, when you are in a place that hundreds and thousands and millions of people have gone to and prayed at or played at or been immersed in some sort of existential experience or metaphysical, esoteric wonder, when you're in one of these high vibration places, it has the ability and you have the opportunity to allow it to work itself into the very cells of your being. Like I said, I was a sponge, right? I wanted to absorb it. To this day, I can still access and remember and bring that energy back to the here and now of experiences I had in sacred places and sacred sites. Just like we all can when you think back of any memory in your life that's really clear and profound and wonderful. And when you sit down and you relive it in your mind, step by step, moment by moment, do you not refeel a lot of those feelings of joy, those feelings of connectedness with the family or friends that you were with, or the feelings of gratitude that you had, that you were able to be in this place and have these amazing experiences, right? So we know we can do that. So being able to touch it and re-access it and then use it again years later can be yet another reason, to make the journey, right? And pictures, taking pictures to remind us, because pictures capture the energy in the moment, which is why we can do things like psychometry and picture reading, right? Where you can read the aura and the energy of somebody in a picture, whether that picture was taken 100 years ago or yesterday, right? We can tune into that. Somebody's talking about dolphins here and dolphin experiences. Yeah, there's certain beings that resonate love. They almost have a sacred nature to them, because if you watch how they interact socially with each other, how they come to the aid of almost anything that's in distress, and how they have this vibration that, when most people, when you see a dolphin up close, feel joy. They laugh. It's almost like it brings out this childlike nature in them. Like, oh my God, there's just something about a dolphin swimming by you or leaping by you or making those cute, clicky, squeaky sounds by you, right? It's like we feel it. We respond to it instinctively. We know that this is something cool and amazing to be around, right? I heard whale song a few times live in my life. Oh my goodness. It just fills your energy field with such love and a depth of appreciation for this natural world that we're a part of. So those are some of the things I wanted to share. I do want to give a quick plug for the retreat that I'm helping to co-lead in Sedona this year. It's going to be May 16, 17, and 18 in Sedona, Arizona. All the information about it is on my website, which is aletheajacob.com. And it's going to be about raising your vibration and preparing for ascension energy. And what ascension energy is the next phase of evolution, and where are we going as a species, as a soul, as a consciousness. And so in order to be ready for whatever the future brings, it's really important that we fine tune and supercharge our intuition. Again, that coherence between our mind, our heart, and our gut, that we understand what tools are available to us, and we understand and know how to get rid of blocks, release old stuff that's not useful, and quicken and raise our vibration so that we can be more in sync with it. Think of it, if you try to jump on one of those merry-go-rounds, right? Well, if you're not running at least a certain speed that's close to how fast it's turning, there's no way that you can join and go have that ride, right? You have to make sure you're running, your energy is going as quick as what's happening around for where you want to go. It is a noble purpose and pursuit for you to raise your energy, to quicken your energy, to clarify and purify your energy as much as you can, because it'll help you be in touch with and be able to perceive and receive messages from those that guide us. And then also so that you can know and have that sense of peace and joy and satisfaction in your life, knowing that you are living the life you were meant to live, that your soul is expressing what it wanted to in this lifetime. Remember, we're no accidents. We didn't just show up. Even if we were an accident, as far as our parents are concerned, our souls, this was not an accident. You are here now. You were born in this day and age for a specific reason. There is either something you were meant to do, meant to learn, meant to be a part of. And the more we align ourselves with that, the better we feel. The harder we work, the less it feels like work when we're working with a pursuit that is in alignment with our purpose. Our work becomes our play and our joy. Well, thank you again for joining. I'll just ask if there's any questions. I know we put up on the chat there, if there was something, put it in caps. I didn't see any questions tonight, but I do want to thank you all for joining. I want to remind you to do your very best to be kind to yourself and be the light. Shine your light as much as you can for others, and take a moment to experience the sacred and the divine wherever you can find it. And remember to send out on a regular basis that image, that intention of what you want to create in your life. Send out that message with that breath, with that feeling of gratitude and love in your heart. And when it starts to manifest, just keep amping up that love and gratitude. I know for a lot of people, times are challenging. There's all kinds of stuff going on out there in the world that can be scary if you let it. It is our job to shine the light, to have faith, to help each other, and to be the best possible versions of ourselves that we can be, to be benevolent forces in the universe, right? You know, have that positive impact whenever you can. Relief. Let's try this again. Relieve the burdens whenever we see them, right? I loved years ago that whole push for random acts of kindness. It's like, bring that back, guys. Let everybody have a blessed day, you know, smile at people. Let the handicapped person have the closer space, you know. Don't just take it because, I'm just going to be in there for 2 minutes, right? Do the kind little things, do the right things. And I guarantee you at the end of your day, you're going to be like, wow, this is a good day. You know, I did things that made a difference. I made my world, however big, small, or medium size it is, however many people you're impacting, whether it's yourself, your family, your colleagues at work, loved ones in your society, strangers on the street, right? You did your part to make their lives a little better, their energies a little brighter, their experience a little happier, right? The more joy that we can spread, the better. So go do your homework, y'all. And next week, I'm going to be on the road. I'm not sure if I'll be here or not, because I don't know if I'll have internet connection as I'm driving. So we'll probably be skipping next week, but I'll catch you on the other side. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us, everybody. Have a wonderful week. God bless you. And thank you so much for joining us. I'm Alethea, and you've been listening or watching Spiritual Street Talk with Alethea Jacob. Take care. Good night.
YouTube channel near you.